The Let It Fly Show. I am Michael Severe, joined by my partner Josh Jones, of course, Creighton University and Central High School.
There you
We
go.
love them Eagles, man. We love the Eagles.
Yes, sir.
We are recording inside the finest sports bar, I'm going to say in the world.
I think in the world.
They might have some little
Show me
sports bars.
something better. How about that?
I'm not going over to Europe looking for a sports bar. The ones that I know of here, this is the best one. It's elevated.
Yeah.
It is certainly the food. It's the drink. It's the view. It's
For
the
sure.
ambiance.
Right.
It's all of those things. It's awesome. It's the Let It Fly Sports
Half
Bar
of
in
the
the Capital
people
District.
that's listening to us now
Yeah.
are like looking at that.
Looking at the burger?
Yeah.
I'm going to get to that in a second. As always, I want to preview because this is a busy week,
Yep.
right? Busy weekend
Yep.
here at the sports bar. It starts off Friday night. You got both Creighton and Nebraska volleyball.
Yep.
And for the first time this year, you've got Creighton's men's basketball team playing as well.
College basketball is back.
Against
My
Wayne
bad.
State.
Yep.
It's an exhibition game, so you got that at 7 o'clock. Then Saturday, it's college football all day long,
Mm-hmm.
including early on, 11 a.m., Nebraska at Michigan State. So we got that is here as well. It's going to be fun. And then
Yep.
NFL watch party. Get here early because as soon as you walk in the door, there'll already be a game on TV.
Yep.
Chiefs Dolphins from Germany. That starts at 8:30.
Yeah.
So get in here, get your brunch, get your food on. Be awesome. We got Creighton volleyball, Nebraska volleyball as well. You can always reserve
Some good
a
games.
table as well. Favorite dish of the week. This is the Let It Fly burger. And this is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to move this over. I'm going to take this right here, and I'm going to cut it in half
Yes, sir.
for you so you can
Appreciate
see that. I'm going to open this up right here so you can see the beauty of the burger.
Yep.
And the egg. So here's what's on it, so you know. It's an Angus burger as always. For
sure.
Topped with a hash brown, sunny side up egg, caramelized onions, grilled cheese, and bacon jam.
Dang.
Bam jam. You know
Teddy's
what?
jam.
Teddy jam.
I
man.
already know,
Teddy
bro.
jam.
I already
We used to have
know.
a drop in
Yeah.
college. It was it's like what did it say? How you know that is jelly? Because jam don't shake like that. Anyway, yeah, so that's we're actually talking about women. But anyway, that is the dish from the Let It Fly bar menu.
Yeah.
It is awesome. It's amazing. It's one of the great things you can get when
sure.
you're at Let It Fly. We have coming up on the show today a special guest,
Yep.
one of your former head coaches. A great McDermott will join us. We'll chat about the upcoming season.
Definitely.
Like I mentioned, Friday night exhibition game. And then they have about 4 non-conference games that get them ready for
Yeah.
at home
It's like
against Iowa.
You probably I don't know if you heard it or not. Lil Wayne got a song called "Let the Beat Build."
Let the beat build.
Yeah, and produced by Kanye West.
Okay.
And it's just parts of the beat just
Yeah.
keep loading until the
Yeah.
hook come. And I
Yeah.
just feel like the games are like that.
Right.
You got a game, and then it got a game, and then it just start get closer, and then you got is it Alabama? Is it no Iowa?
Iowa at home.
Alabama.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
Villanova.
And Villanova.
Yeah, and then Marquette.
Yeah. See,
Wow.
for me, it's Sly and the Family Stone.
Yeah.
Had a song. I did the exact same thing.
Okay.
You brought the drums in, then you brought the horns in, then
Yeah.
you brought the bass in. Boom, 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 boom. And that was the same kind of thing. I
Yeah.
got what you're saying.
Same energy.
Also, opponent breakdown, Michigan State. We have keys to the game and predictions as well, as we always do.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to start off a little bit because I was looking at some things. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but James Harden is no longer a Sixer.
Man,
See the
listen.
smile on my face?
I've been seeing.
Smile.
Man, you was talking about
So
that.
I'm
I've been
so
seeing
happy.
memes.
So happy.
I've been seeing memes
So
about
happy.
that. But the thing is,
So happy.
he ain't a Sixer.
Yeah, he's not a
But
Sixer.
them Clippers look nice now.
Now so do you believe that roster
Gonna win.
with that age? Okay, so you're talking 34, 36,
Yeah.
34, all guys who've been injured throughout their career.
Russ,
And then you throw Rush in there
PG,
too. He's 36, I believe, as well.
Kawhi.
Yep.
James.
Kawhi's been injured. Obviously, Russ has had a little bit. Harden's been injured a lot.
I'm not saying they can win
Paul
it all.
George has been
See,
injured.
I'm not delusional.
Okay.
I'm not saying they can win it all.
Okay.
I'm saying that they're going to make the NBA that much more interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
And the West was already interesting.
Yeah.
West was already interesting.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Kawhi can stay healthy. When he's
Yeah.
healthy, it's a better league 'cause I enjoy watching
It just be, I
the best
mean,
two-way players going.
I just can't wait to see them all. I mean,
Yeah.
they all won't be on the floor at the same time. But
You would think in the games, won't you think?
nah.
At the end of the games, because you want Russ on the.
at the one.
Yeah, I was thinking it's the point.
No, or you can put James at the one. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like
James is the best. He's been also, if I talk bad about him, this is a guy who's led the league in assists multiple
Yeah.
times. So we know he can distribute.
I feel like PG can play an undersized 4.
Oh, certainly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's 6'9".
I mean, it all depends who they're playing.
Yeah.
But I think those 4 guys and then a 5th,
Yeah.
depending on what's going on
Hey, that's
defensively.
why I like the Warriors, because there was a point in the game where I was like, gosh, Steph. Like, Steph is one of those guys where, like, you got to love him and hate him for whatever he do.
Yeah.
He might throw it off the back.
Occasionally,
He might,
Yeah.
But then once you sub
I'm
him
worried
off,
about them, though.
It's a drop-off
Yeah, I'm
with
worried
the
about
point
them.
guard, but then you got CP3. I'm worried about him, too.
I'm worried about another guy who's over 35. You
CP3?
can't, yeah, you just can't continually go. You know, man. You're
I don't know,
34,
LeBron
right?
James-
You're 30. He's an alien.
Yeah,
I don't even believe in aliens, but LeBron's an alien.
Yeah.
Jabbar was an alien.
Yeah.
There's only a handful. Every generation you have an alien, and he is the alien.
I dig it. I think that
He's played more minutes than anybody in the history of the NBA.
I can't wait.
LeBron.
Yeah, that's
It's crazy to think about.
That is
when you add his
crazy.
playoff minutes in,
Yeah.
more minutes than any guy who's ever played in the NBA.
And the thing is, for me, he's still not my GOAT. He's still not my
He's
GOAT.
not my GOAT either, but that's fine.
But he's the second greatest player to ever play the game.
See, it's funny because, again, I will mention this. I'm old. And so I watched
You gonna
Jabbar.
say Kareem?
I watched Jabbar play, and there's never been anyone, in my opinion, that could score the way he could.
No, but
he's
you're
like
not,
literally
but you're
unstoppable.
not the only person that says that.
He's literally unstoppable.
Yeah, my father-in-law always say, really, Kareem was a GOAT, but the way that, like, at that time, civil rights movement, and the way he was Muslim,
and they don't make centers the GOAT a lot, because if you want to have a conversation, Bill Russell's got to be in the conversation.
Yeah,
Wilt's got to be in the conversation.
That's why Bill Russell is like top 4.
Yeah, because of all those rings.
Yeah, for sure.
Man's got more rings. He got fingers.
The only reason why
It's
I
a big
say
deal.
LeBron James is the second best, greatest of all time is for the simple fact that all-time leading scorer, multiple NBA champion, multiple and first in multiple categories.
What's he got? 4 titles?
He got 4.
So he got 1 less than Kobe.
Yeah, one less than
2
Kobe.
less than Jordan.
Yeah, but I just think that test wise
and 2 less than Jabbar too.
And dominance and that fear factor. Like people are not scared.
Even the last ring didn't even count.
GOAT
The last ring didn't even count. It was in that bubble, man.
This guy.
I'm just playing. I don't mean it, Laker fans. I got nothing against you. I hate the Celtics.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Michigan State, 'cause that's who Nebraska plays this week. I kind of broke this down into some categories.
Yeah.
So you have the offense.
Yep.
You have their defense.
Okay.
You have their special teams, and then you have the turnovers.
Yeah.
We are going to watch a game at 11 o'clock on Saturday featuring the worst turnover team in the Big Ten versus the second worst team in the Big Ten. We're gonna feature the worst fumbling team in all of America versus one of the worst interception throwing teams in all of America. That's the matchup. Here's what you got.
Wait, let me ask you this about Nebraska first.
Yeah.
So overall, where are they at as far as the future? Like, is each game from your perspective?
Yeah, I don't think this team has anything to do with the future. Really. I mean, if you look at the seniors who are leaving, I don't think the quarterback of the future is on the team.
Respect.
And the guys, I think the guys who are hurt are your guys running backs next year.
So how should I view this season? Just game to game?
Just game to game. Hope it's. People hate this, but it's year 0.
Yeah.
It's not year 1. It's year 0. This is when you try to build your culture,
that's facts.
everything, right? You try to build all of that. You do your best.
Yeah.
If they could somehow, and it's possible, they got to 8-4.
Yeah.
You know how crazy that would be?
They
might play on a New Year's. I know this is nuts. Okay, let's stay with me. They could play in a New Year's Day bowl.
A bowl game.
In Tampa.
Yeah.
If they finish 8-4, depending on what happens, if both Michigan and Ohio State get into the Final Four,
right,
and the college ball playoff, then that could happen.
Right.
Think about that. From where they were to that point would be
remember
coach of the
we
year.
was talking about Coach Raiola?
Yeah.
What do you think about that line?
I thought they played really well.
For sure.
I mean, you bring in Evans Jenkins, who really hasn't played a lot.
Yeah.
Prohaska's played a lot. Bring him in. And then I looked at them and I thought, they looked outside of the first play where there was holding.
Yeah.
Outside of the first play, I thought they actually played really well together.
Okay.
So that's big. Latovsky came in. He had some time before he played. Benhart's been playing better. Ben Scott, luckily, he's healthy. Because if he was down, then you'd have Justin Evans Jenkins would have to go to center, and then you'd have to have like a freshman at guard, which would be not great.
Right.
But
my bad.
Michigan State, second worst turnover margin in the Big Ten. The worst, of course, is Nebraska. The second most fumbles lost. Second in Nebraska.
Right.
Most interceptions thrown in the Big Ten with 10, and third worst in the Big Ten in third down conversions as well. Second most turnovers converted by penalty, Big Ten. This is a team who is in bad shape, but they're fighting. I give them. So you lose your coach to a scandal. They're on their third or fourth quarterback because they lost after spring. One of their quarterbacks transferred, Peyton Thorne.
Right.
Then they had a starter in Noah Lee who got hurt. Then they put another guy in who's been playing. He's banged up, not playing well. Now they have a freshman in there.
Right.
So good for them to stay with it and fight, and good for that coaching staff to keep them fighting as well. Defensive wise, 11th worst in the conference in scoring defense. And this is the thing that my biggest question about the whole game. They cannot stop the pass. Nebraska cannot pass.
So what do you do?
Something's got to give.
Somebody going to just run it?
Something's got to give. They're hard to run the ball against.
Yeah.
You can pass against them.
Okay.
They are the worst pass defense when you add everything up together in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
They're giving over 7.5 yards an attempt. They're allowing 62%, all the highest, and they're the second worst overall pass defense, giving up 234 yards a game. Can Nebraska get over 200 yards? Can Nebraska pass against the worst pass defense in the Big Ten? Can they get over 200 yards?
Can't, and it's not because
It's the question.
No, this is why I say no.
Yeah.
It's not even really because the team they playing against. It's because they just can't do it.
And maybe that could be the case.
Yeah.
You got to take shots though. This team, Michigan State, has given up the most long passing plays in all of the Big Ten.
Right.
80 of them.
Man.
Get you some.
Right.
Get you some. Special teams is pretty good, by the way. But here's the thing. They committed more penalties, too, than any team in the Big Ten.
Wow.
This team has got a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Along with their coach being booted with
Yeah.
all of the injuries and everything. They've got a lot of issues. So.
They better not beat Nebraska. That's all I'm
It's
gonna say.
11 a.m.
Yeah.
It's a sleepy place.
That'd be
East
the scary
Lansing.
thing. When you drop these facts,
I
I,
know.
always think
I
in my
know.
mind,
I know.
they better not lose.
They better not lose. Exactly. You got to win this one.
Right.
And then next week, Maryland. Come home,
Yeah.
play Maryland. Maryland's been struggling big time. They got a lot of injuries, too. And then finish with Wisconsin and Iowa.
Yeah.
And you have a shot.
So, hey, this is random thought. I know we got Coach Mack
Yeah,
coming
going to
up.
Coach Mack, yeah.
I wonder if we can do a poll where we can see how many J-Skers there are in the state of Nebraska. This is random, you know? I mean,
Let me tell you something
I
real quick
love
about this.
Nebraska.
I've done this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Once you get west of Gretna, you are done with Creighton Blue Jay fans.
Really?
There are people in Lincoln, in West Lincoln, that have no idea other than 1 week a year that Creighton's playing.
Yeah, okay.
Now, I'm not joking. It's not. I have gone to events and people are like, "So what's going on?" I say, "Oh, we're covering Creighton. They're going to run in the NCAA tournament."
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. It is really this pocket. Now, the majority of the population is right here in this 5-county area when you go over to Potawatomi County.
No
so
doubt.
that's
So-
at 5.
so that's the thing for this.
That's it. Is it 1.8 million, 1.9 million in the state? Approximately a million, 1.1 are all in this area.
Right.
So those are your Creighton fans. Many of them are also Nebraska fans, and about 30-40% of them are all Nebraska basketball
but
fans.
J-Skers come from Creighton not having a football team.
Sure.
After that one
and
game.
Nebraska not having a basketball team. Just playing. All that's true as well.
Yeah.
So we obviously got
Just
Coach
a
Mack.
thought, just a
Coach
thought,
Mack
just
coming
a
up, and I
thought.
know you've looked a lot at the Big East.
Yeah.
So let me give you what Ken Pom has.
Yeah.
So Ken Pom has Creighton as the 12th best team in the country, even though they're 8th in the AP poll. Right. 11th best offense. 13.
Wait, whoa. 11th best offense?
They have them 11th best.
I can't wait to go watch.
Adjusted offense.
We gonna see.
And they have the 18th best adjusted defense on Ken Pom. Then you have UConn at 4.
Yeah.
Marquette at 11.
Okay.
Nova at 23.
Okay.
And Xavier at 34. So you got 5 teams in the top 35 in Ken Pom to start the season.
Man, it's the best conference in America.
I know.
I'm trying to
Not the
tell
deepest because they always make teams. Like the
Yeah.
ACC's got like 29
No,
teams.
right.
Yeah, but
they top heavy for sure.
They're top heavy.
At least 5.
And then real quick about Nebraska, they have Ken Pom has them 58th in the country, 48th adjusted offense, 68th adjusted defense. And in that Big Ten, you've got Purdue 1, Michigan State 13, Illinois 19, and Maryland 22.
So my thing is, as we speak about that,
Yeah.
since basketball is coming, what is it going to take for the Huskers to have the Huskers ever been? I remember there was this point in time where there was like Jason DeRusso, guys like that, where it was like they were like solid, you know.
Well, they were a 3 seed one year.
But I'm just saying,
in the
like,
first round to Penn.
what will it take?
Yeah.
What does it take for Nebraska to be not at the bottom of the Big Ten?
I think it's health. Well, you look at last year. Actually, they had the best record in the final 8 games of the season in the Big Ten. Crazy with all those injuries.
That is crazy.
So they got to stay healthy. They got to stay healthy.
I didn't know that.
They have
Kuminga,
to,
is he cool?
He's got the ankle, twisted his ankle.
Word.
So hopefully he's not gonna play in the exhibition game.
Okay.
But hopefully he'll be healthy.
I mean,
they need a lot to happen.
Yeah, no
Luck.
doubt.
divine intervention.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Oh, my God.
And they may just finish, if they could finish 7th.
Yeah.
That would be a remarkable season.
My gosh.
Remarkable season.
7th?
Finish
Yeah,
7th.
for sure.
And right now they are ranked 7th in KenPom.
Okay.
Out of all the teams in the Big Ten.
All right.
When we come back, we'll talk to the head coach, your former head coach, Greg McDermott, right here on the Let It Fly Show.
On a Sunday. Gotta go. I forgot the sausage. You guys ready to eat? There you go. On a Sunday.
Greg McDermott, finally someone who can tell me true stories about whether or not Josh did this or didn't do this in games. Finally a fact checker.
We don't have enough time.
Thank you.
Not have enough time. Just assume most of it's false.
Most of it's false. I asked you this before we started. What's your feeling? All these years in, you've been doing this for a long time. Is there an excitement level that's getting ready to start? Is there a nervousness level? Do you think you got everything you need to get done in the offseason? How are you feeling?
Coaches never feel like you're ready. They want more. We want more practices and more preparation and more reps. Players are ready to play, especially when you have some veterans that are returning that have been through this song and dance 3 and 4 times with practice, all the necessary steps you have to go through with the young guys. But probably at this point, anticipation. You get close to it. You're kind of anxious to get out there and let the guys show their stuff.
No doubt.
14 years ago. When you say 14 years, I think back to that first initial press conference. I was a part of that group or whatever. Did you expect it to be what it is now when you first came?
They called him Doug, by the way, in that press conference.
They did call you Doug.
Yeah,
Bruce did.
Bruce did, yeah.
I think had I been Doug, I think I'd be doing way better.
Funny.
14 years later, if we could have switched paychecks,
No doubt.
I'd be in pretty good shape. He would have paid for my school instead of me paying for
his, right.
everything that went with it. But, that's a good question, Josh. Probably not, just simply because we're in the Missouri Valley. And at that point in time, there was no discussions about us moving anywhere. We were trying to be the best mid-major, and I remember trying to get some, maybe some traction to be a Gonzaga type.
Yeah, for sure. High mid-major.
And we always felt like we were a Sweet 16 away from our story being told. And I think had that happened for Dana or for us when we were in the Valley, I think Creighton wouldn't have been a secret anymore.
Yeah.
What happened is we moved to the Big East. Doug was National Player of the Year. We had a great team that year. Then the story's told, and now the snowball's taken off and rolling downhill, and it's going pretty well. So
and fast.
And no kidding. 14 years. It's I had no gray hair when I met you.
Yeah, right. Half of those are mine, right?
I remember interviewing you right when you were getting ready to go in the Big East, and you talked about some of the things that you had to do in terms of changing the roster, more length on the wings, some more size. Looking 14 years later or 13 years later, what's the feeling like in the Big East? Is it the same as what you needed back then, or has it changed?
I think every year is different. We've had some very successful teams. The team that probably would have been the highest seed in our history was Zagorowski and Mitch and Tyshawn and Damian Jefferson and Christian Bishop. Nobody was taller than 6'7". So
right.
we were smaller, but we were really skilled. Christian was a different type of center. And then we've had Gregory Echenike at center. We've had Martine Krampel, Justin Patton, and now Kalkbrenner. So. There's been some really good bigs in our league, and I think what's happened with college basketball is that there used to be 3 Ryan Kalkbrenners on every NBA team.
Oh yeah.
Now there's 1.
Right.
So you're seeing a lot of those guys come back to school. Whether it's Baycott and Hunter Dickinson and Zach Edney right on down the line. There's a lot of guys that come back. So there's been pretty good bigs in our league year in and year out, and certainly UConn and Sunogo was an example of that last year.
And speaking about teams. What do you think is the best team you ever coached?
That's a hard one.
And was I on it, right?
Yeah.
That's finish the question.
Yeah.
They're all unique. Last year's team at the end was playing at a really high level. That team was Zagorowski before he got hurt. We would have struggled in the NCAA tournament had COVID not shut it down. Marcus would have been out. I think probably the team with the highest ceiling was probably Maurice Watson.
That was my favorite.
Marcus Foster.
That was fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
JP, Cole Huff, that group. Those guys were. You could argue. That Maurice was one of the best college point guards in the game that year.
Yeah.
And then you had borderline NBA guys on the wing in Marcus and Taz.
Right.
Taz played in the NBA. I always thought Marcus could have. Cole Huff fulfilled his role to a T. And then you had JP, who was a lottery pick inside. So that group offensively and what we could do defensively when we were rolling, we were really hard to stop.
Yeah.
So it would have been interesting to see had he not got hurt where that team could have landed. I think our ceiling was pretty high.
Sometimes when you ask a coach, best memory, they remember things that weren't necessarily great. You remember like some of the worst times. I don't know why that is. Athletes too. So you go back to last year. You're so close to going to the Final Four. How long did that take you to move on from it? Have you moved on from it? What's your feeling about that? Because you were great afterwards, by the way. Your answers in the post was outstanding. I would have never been that good about that.
That's a political answer.
Well, I didn't have any time.
To process it, you mean?
Yeah, because we thought we were going to have the ball under our basket with 0.4 of a second left and with a chance to tie it or win it.
Right.
So we're drawing up the play, and then all of a sudden the game's over. We're
Right.
shaking hands, and our locker room is literally 8 steps from the end of our bench. It's not like I had to walk to kind of gather my thoughts. All of a sudden I'm in there, and I had to talk. Doug's year, we were down 30 at halftime. I had the whole second half.
He's thinking about the speech on the
so that one was easy.
Yeah.
But there's so many good memories. The Big East championship night in the arena.
Oh, yeah.
When we clinched was incredible. Certainly the scene in Denver last year when we got back, to the Sweet 16, and then in Louisville after we won the first game was pretty cool. Doug's senior night is always one that I'll remember. I think the first Big East game against Marquette, New Year's Eve. I don't know that I've ever experienced a feeling in an arena like I felt that night.
Yeah.
There was 17 sober people on each bench, and then a couple of scores.
Yeah, right. That was it. Maybe even the refs was drunk.
And it just, the energy in that building for a game that was, and I think it ended up 65-47, but it felt like we won 92-91, and it was just an unbelievable energy. And then every year the Pink Out's really cool to me. Just there's so many people that have been impacted by cancer, and every year that to see that grow and how it impacts people is pretty special to me.
About the cancer game, a while back we had interviewed your wife. Mm-hmm. From your perspective of her leading that charge and getting that to be a thing for the university now, what's your take and thoughts on that?
Yeah, we really started it at Northern Iowa when she was diagnosed. Against her wishes.
Yeah, right.
She kind of wanted it to be, just let's keep it under wraps. And as we talked about it more, she realized that she caught hers because of early detection. And if we could use her story to have other people encourage them to have their screenings when they're supposed to have their screenings at the right checkpoints in their life, that maybe some lives could be saved. So we took it to Iowa State, and it had a little traction there, but it took off here. The right people got involved. There was a committee when we first started, and then Methodist and CHI both got involved as co-sponsors, and it's been really cool to see it grow.
Yeah. Greg McDermott joining us here on the Let It Fly show. Everything's changed so much in college basketball, from NIL to transfer portal and that kind of thing. And I'm not going to ask you if you're surprised that you lost a couple of players, but how do you prepare for that? How do you handle it as a coach heading into off seasons, knowing that maybe you have to re-recruit a guy?
Yeah, I mean, you're always re-recruiting guys, and hopefully you don't have to re-recruit them because you've developed a good enough relationship with them that's not necessary once the season's over. But you also have to understand you live in a day and age where don't be surprised by anything, because you can find surprises all across the country of people that have decided to make a move or decided to come back from the NBA draft or gone into the NBA draft.
Right.
So as a staff, you always have to have plan B. And we were active in the transfer portal. We kind of knew, what we wanted. We had a decent idea that Arthur was going to leave. The Isaac Trout piece fit really good there. We were surprised with Nembhard. But, once it happened, you can either be upset or you can, get up off the canvas and try to find another guy. Yeah. And we had done some research, and I actually had gotten a call from Ashworth, one of his high school coaches that we recruited, Tristan Inarura, that ended up at Kansas and Iowa State. Mm-hmm. Recruited him a couple times, and this gentleman had coached Stephen in high school and had called me and just said, hey, he's thinking about it, he's not sure. And I'm like, you know what, if Nembhard comes back, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
But so that was that, and then, Ryan ends up leaving, and then, would obviously make a quick call and a quick flight to Salt Lake City. So it all worked out great. You just have to be prepared. It's a different world now. it's unfortunate. I said it at a Hilltoppers meeting last night because Ryan Kalkbrenner was there and spoke. Our fans got the opportunity to watch him as a freshman when he couldn't hardly run up and down the floor for a minute and a half before he got tired. He was uncoordinated. Yeah. He didn't have stamina. He didn't have strength. And they've been able to watch him grow up in front of their eyes. And to me, that's what's so cool about college athletics, and especially basketball, because football guys, they have helmets on.
Yeah,
you don't necessarily see the changes in them
Yeah.
physically like you do in basketball. You're up close, you feel like you know him, and Ryan Kalkbrenner is a totally different person and player than he was 4 years ago, and our fans have gotten to witness that. And I think that's one of the really cool things about college athletics, and the rules are starting to dictate that that's not going to be as possible as it was before.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Because they want you to get old and
for
stale.
sure.
You always have an opportunity to get old and stale.
Yeah.
We're trying to buck the trend. We're going to sign 3 really good high school players next week that I'm really excited about, all top 75 guys that we think can be really good. So we're going to continue to try to do it the way we've done it. Is it possible? Can we be successful long term? We're going to find out.
So do you feel like now – well, it's kind of like you kind of told me this one time. Josh, I seen what you are at your best, so I can't accept anything less than that. You reached the Elite Eight. Is that the new standard now where you want the Creighton fans, Blue Jay Nation, to expect excellence? Even if the team doesn't make it as far, do you kind of feel like we got to be like one of the best college basketball teams in the country every year, if that's possible?
Yeah, I think you have to narrow your focus, and our focus, at least I attempt to have our focus with our team, be on the Big East. And everything we do and the way we build a non-conference schedule every year, depending on your talent and experience, it's to prepare you for conference play. Because if you can be successful in our conference,
it's the best conference in the country.
You're going to have an opportunity to be successful after conference play is over. So do everything you can to prepare yourself from that. We've got all kinds of different styles in the Big East, and now you add Pitino to that. But, you think about Sean Miller's success and Thad Matta and Rick Pitino and, right on down the line, Danny Hurley's now got a championship. Ed Cooley's been incredibly successful.
Right.
Shaka Smart's been to Final Four. So, right on down the line, there's great coaches. So you're going to see everything. They're going to expose your weaknesses, and they have time to prepare, and they know you. So now when you get into tournament play, they don't know you. There's not as much time to prepare. You're ready. So I just think if you put all your eggs in the NCAA tournament basket, you're probably going to lose sight of what you need to accomplish in conference play.
Makes sense.
So, and then it's about matchups, and it's, playing the right team, making sure, our game against Xavier in the Big East semifinal was maybe our worst game of the year.
I agree.
Now, Xavier had something to do with that, but we laid an egg, and you have those games every once in a while. You can't explain them. Doug's senior year against Baylor happened in the NCAA tournament. You hope to heck it doesn't happen then. But, it happened to us a week before, and we got it out of our system. So you just hope that doesn't happen. You're playing your best. But it was a fun ride, and our fans got to experience, our players got to experience it, and that certainly provided motivation for our guys to try to get back there.
What have you seen from Stephen Ashworth so far in practice that reemphasizes the fact that you're glad that you brought him in?
He has next level leadership skills, and when I say that, he has a way similar to Ryan Hawkins, maybe, that he can correct a teammate in a way that isn't demeaning in any way, that the teammate ends up feeling good about the message even though he was just corrected.
Got it.
And that takes maturity. It takes some savvy, and Stephen has that. And, I was worried, and I've said this many times, that I might have to interject myself into the Stephen Ashworth, Trey Alexander. Trey, you're going to be at a point now. Stephen, we're going to run this with you here.
Yeah.
It's just happened.
Yeah, okay.
And they don't. It's been organic.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
And it seems comfortable for both of them. They both are cheering for each other in practice. And the Baylor Trey Stephen deal, it's just, one day one guy's got 10 assists and the other two make a bunch of baskets, and then the next day it flips. So he's really fit in. When you watch us practice, the scouts that have come in said we would never guess he's in his first year with your program.
Man.
He just fits so good, and I think complements Trey, Baylor, and Ryan's leadership.
What about the young guys? I've been to a few practices just on behalf of Let It Fly. What about I know you got Josiah Dosler, you got Knox, and from a guard perspective, you only played 6 guys, 7, maybe 6 or 7 last year. You seem like you got a lot more depth. Can you kind of speak to the nucleus of the reserves and especially the incoming freshmen?
Yeah, last year we played Farabello off the bench. We used Mason Miller at the 4. We used Fred at the 5, and we weren't really ever able to kind of find that next guy that was consistently ready. I feel a little more comfortable this year. Farabello's really, I think, taken his play in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
He carried it over to the Bahamas. He was practicing really well till he had a hamstring injury. He missed 7 or 8 days, and now he's kind of getting his flow back. And, Isaac Trout's come in and done some good things. We were rotating really Mason and Jason Green and Isaac Trout every day.
Okay.
2 guys were with the top group, the other guy was on
different
the other
looks,
side.
yeah.
And we'd rotate them every day to give them all a fair look. And they all have their strengths. And, Jason's hurt out for another month, so it's given Isaac another opportunity.
Right.
And he's done a pretty good job with it. Frederick, I think, has made strides. And then the freshman, Josiah has really made a jump the last couple weeks. I thought he did some good things when we scrimmaged at Iowa State. He'll certainly be in the rotation tomorrow night to give him some run against Wayne State and see how it goes. And then Sterling's had some good moments as well, but it's hard to have good moments when you got to guard Trey and Baylor every day.
Man. And he playing in the Big East.
Yeah.
The best conference in the country.
And the same thing with Brock. He's got to go against Fred and Hawk every day. Like it's deflating sometimes because you can be in the right place, you can do the right thing, but they're just so good.
That's true.
So we'll make some decisions between now and Tuesday on red shirts. We'll have those conversations. I don't ever want to make them too early.
Yeah.
I did meet with Josh Townley Thomas today. He's going to redshirt, walk on from prep, and he's going to play for us someday.
Yeah, he got tall. He got taller.
We had some high school guys in the other day. Some coaches were like, I don't remember this guy's prep. Did he really play at prep?
Yeah.
And if I'd have told you in June after the first practice, if you'd asked me about Josh, I'd have said, I don't think he can make it through a practice.
Right.
Like, he's so far over his head. His improvement is as accelerated as anybody I've ever coached. And he just soaks things up. He loves the game. And at 6'9", he's 220, 225. He'll be 240. Someday he'll have a chance. It's going to be a pretty cool story when it happens.
Going back to that 4 spot, how different are you when Mason's in opposed to when Trout's in?
Yeah.
How different of a team?
Mason just has the benefit of experience. He's been here 3 years. He understands our offense. He understands the movement and the spacing of our offense and when to make a cut, when to stay out of the way. Isaac's still learning that. And same thing defensively.
Yeah.
Mason's voice has gotten much better as he's gotten older. And
he's mystique to us. He didn't talk a lot.
Yeah, with his communication, he's gotten better.
Yeah.
And he has a better understanding of what we're doing defensively just because he's been there and done it. So I would expect him to be ahead, and he is. But Isaac's made progress, and Isaac's getting closer to being a better version of himself. But I think that spot is where we want it to be. They're both really, really good shooters. So any helping off that spot is somebody's going to pay for it if that happens this year.
No doubt.
What do you think about from a coaching perspective? It's kind of like Coach Pitino is kind of like the Coach Prime of basketball now with a whole new roster.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. Do you think it's a thing where it can be like really good, really bad, and got to rebuild regardless, or how do you think the St. John's situation is?
Yeah, I mean, under the old rules, before 2 years ago, you wouldn't have the opportunity to do that. You could find a grad transfer maybe, and maybe some high-level freshmen, but you can't flip it like you could flip it now. And he's brought in some really good players, and he's he's a Hall of Fame coach. He's one of the best coaches in our game. So I'll be surprised if they're not successful. And he's got New York on lockdown right now. It's they're back playing a bunch of Big East games in the Garden, and they're not going to play a lot on campus. It's going to change the dynamic of that job and the young people they're able to attract. But it's great for our league. To have I joke with people the Big East Media Day. There was 30 reporters there to see 10 of us and 400 to see Rick Pitino.
Yeah, I know. That's why I asked.
But it's great for our league, and he speaks. He's got fond memories of his time in the Big East. Both at Providence and Louisville. And he's happy to be back at it. So it's great to have him in the conference.
It's been a while. I was at that 87 Final Four in New Orleans.
Wow.
When he was at Providence. That's a long time ago.
Yeah,
Billy
I'm excited
Donovan,
for
right?
it.
Yep, Billy Donovan. That was a great Final Four. I was a Syracuse fan. That's why I was there, but obviously couldn't make free throws, so they lost. Let me ask you about the challenges of being in the Big East and travel. Have they worked with you when they're making the schedule to make sure that a team that's in the Midwest, it works all right when you have to go back east?
It depends on the year. Last year we had no double trips where we went to Providence and played on Wednesday and stayed and played St. John's on Saturday. It just didn't work out that way.
Yeah, you have one.
This year we have a couple opportunities to do that. I think Xavier and Providence is maybe on a trip, and UConn and Seton Hall's on another trip. So we have an opportunity to go out, stay out, knock 2 out, and not have quite as much travel. But we're fortunate. We travel on nice airplanes.
Sure.
So it's not like it's a huge problem for us to get back and forth if we have to. But to take all those trips and be able to knock 4 teams out in 2 trips is going to be huge for us. More time at home in your own bed.
Yeah, so let's talk about Doug a little bit. I got a few questions, but the first question is, when did you know your son can make it to the NBA?
Probably.
He went lottery though.
Probably later in his sophomore year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of the, he made a huge jump from his freshman year to his sophomore year. Just with how quick he got the ball off, and he was a decent 3-point shooter in high school, but very low volume. Like he'd shoot 1 or 2 a game, and to think that guy is
they had Harrison on their team.
Yeah, but even as a senior in high school, to think a guy that shot 1 or 2 threes a game is going to be in the top 10 in 3-point shooting in the last decade in the NBA. Like you just didn't see that. But, and then he continued to work hard. And especially when he made the decision to come back for his senior year, and then we started playing the people in the Big East. And he had made another step and playing against better players. It just didn't impact him. And then I'm like, you know what, he's got a chance at this. And he's been a journeyman. It's hard. The first 3 or 4 years were really hard. He was traded 4 times. And then finally got an opportunity with Rick Carlisle at Dallas at the end, and that got him the contract at Indiana, and he kind of struggled for a couple of years. And then Nate Bjorklund got the job. Moved him around, let him average 13, 14 a game, and that got him the deal in San Antonio. So, you have to understand how to use Doug.
Gotcha.
And but to think that he was going to play in the NBA 10 years, not many people. I was there for the opener.
You're basically saying not especially you.
Yeah, especially me. I was down there for the opener, and he didn't play much and didn't. I think he only took 1 shot and missed it. But it was a late game. It didn't start till about 9 o'clock. So it was about midnight. And I was at his house, and he came back, and he had this big smile on his face. I'm like, what's up with that? And he says, well, I just checked in my 10th year.
Nice.
Dang.
So
nice.
My pension now is pretty good, he said.
Amen. God is good, man.
No doubt about that.
That's big time.
You made a great point about us watching Kalkbrenner grow. We've also watched Trey Alexander go from a kid who I saw in practice as a freshman, who wasn't the shooter he is now, wasn't the player, wasn't even the athlete. Can you talk about his growth? And is that a tribute to, obviously, your strength and conditioning group and everything, but his hard work to get to this point?
Yeah, our strength and conditioning and our nutrition and our skill development is only as good as the player's work ethic. So you can have all that and you have all this available to you, but if you're not going to take action, it's just not going to happen. And Trey takes action.
Yeah.
He's done. I remember that, when Nembhard got hurt his freshman year and we played him at the point in the NCAA tournament, I mean, they could not sit on a person's right hand any more than they sat on his. It made his life impossible.
I remember.
And he just found a way to keep getting to spots, and now he's going left. He's beating people different directions.
Yeah.
And, I joked with him the other day. I said, all you have to do is score and make good decisions and rebound a little and guard the other team's best player. I said, other than that, you just relax, So it's been fun to watch his growth and development. And it was also fun to see him go through the process last year and have the maturity to understand, there's things I have to get better at if I'm going to be ready when I get to the NBA. And that's not easy for a young person to do because you've got that dream right there that you can almost grab it, and there's enough people telling you there's a relatively good chance you'll get picked somewhere.
Right.
But Trey understood, I'm not ready yet. There's things that I want to improve on, and he's attacked those things in the off season and
Nice.
he's playing at a really high level. And his, he wouldn't say 4 words as a freshman, and now he's a great leader. So
if I say not like me talking a lot, right?
No, you talked a lot but said nothing. That was the difference. But
Talk less, say more.
It's been fun to watch Trey's growth. It's been pretty incredible.
That's cool.
This is something that I've always wanted you to kind of explain to people. How do you have a niche for finding lower level talent? Toby Hegners, Ryan Hawkins, Baylor Shireman. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Zach Hansen. How do you find those guys and get them to compete at the highest level, at the best conference in America? Like, why not just go after somebody else at a high level?
Yeah, Zach and Toby were recruited to play in the Valley, and then we moved to the Big East after they got here. So, they had to grow up fast. They had to figure it out.
Yeah.
But, we knew what we were looking for. With Toby, we wanted a stretch 4 that had some size, that had a little fight, that could maybe guard a 5 some, but could step out and shoot it. And you'll remember, Josh, his first year.
Yeah.
I mean, Raggy and Doug cooked that dude so much in practice.
Cooking ain't the word.
I remember telling Toby in practice, like, Ethan Raggy would be a first-team All-American if you guarded him every game.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he got –
for sure.
But Toby grew and he got better and, had a really good career. And, Hawk was – it was a godsend, really.
Yeah.
And I give him a lot of credit for
He's a different leader,
where
man.
our program is today, because it was all those freshmen. And Kalk was just going to be a sophomore. So he hadn't really found himself from a confidence standpoint. And then you have these 3 freshmen we're going to roll out there.
Right.
And Alex O'Connell. And the combination, Hawk's positive energy and leadership. Alex did a great job. Keyshawn Fizel being a senior coming off the bench. Those 3 guys were instrumental in really, those R2 and Art and Trey may not say it today, but 10 years from now, when they kind of really, really get it, they'll look back and say, those 3 guys did a lot for me to help kind of get my career off to the right path. But, we rely, as you know, Josh, on skill. We want guys who can handle it, pass it, shoot it, understand how to play. We'll give up some things to get that in certain scenarios. And the guys you talked about, they're really high skill guys. Baylor Shireman, can really pass the basketball. Really understands the game, and he's really developed his body. I think our fans are going to be surprised when they see him tomorrow night. His body looks great, and it's one of the things the NBA scouts have been really impressed with.
I think because he cut his hair, that's why he looks more buff.
It is, because that's probably helped.
You've been saying that.
I'm telling you, man.
Are you expecting him to do like certain things that he didn't do last year? I know he scored a lot in bunches when he needed to make some big plays, but is there anything extra now? He shot
36% from the 3-point line.
But he took some deep
should
ones.
Be a 40.
He has to, but he was 46 or 7 at South Dakota State. And obviously different defenses, and to his credit too, I think he understood after playing in the Big East a year. I could go try this NBA thing again, or I can address some of the things I didn't do very well.
Right.
And, defensively he's made, to go from guarding a 4 in the Summit League to guarding, he started
1-2 guard.
Started at the point guard in San Diego State.
That's what I said, 1 or 2 guards.
We just felt Trey and R2 were better matchups for the other 2 guards. But we had confidence in Baylor's ability to do that.
Right.
And he's made great strides in every part of the game.
For sure.
How much has NIL, especially at a school that doesn't have football, so the basketball program is the front door of the university, how has NIL affected or mattered to you in terms of being a coach in the program?
Well, it doesn't matter if it matters to me.
I mean, in terms of being a good players, I guess.
If I don't do it, we die.
Right.
So that's just the reality.
It is what it is, yeah.
I think our guys are very comfortable with where we're at. Mm-hmm. I think they really appreciate, what our fan base has done to support NIL, and we're going to have to continue to do a good job of it. It's just a new world that we live in, and there's a portion of our fan base that really doesn't like it. They think the kids are entitled, that they're spoiled. My answer to them is they showed up on campus, and these were the rules.
Yeah.
They didn't make
so
them.
it's not their fault.
Yeah, they did not make
Yeah.
them.
Understood.
And they deserve every opportunity that they could get somewhere else if they're going to come here. Now, are we going to do crazy stuff, some stuff you read about in the media? No, we're not.
Right.
And some of that stuff is true and some of it isn't.
Right.
But I think what's happened so far here is our collective is, what the kids have been promised when they first meet with the collective has been delivered.
Yeah.
As long as you have that reputation, you're going to have an opportunity to continue to recruit good
I got one more.
Yeah, I got one for you.
That Husker game. I got to ask this. People.
we played them 13 times since I've been here.
I get that.
Can we talk about the 10, or
See,
do you just want to talk about the 3?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, though, as we're talking about this, because that was my answer. I said, what about the other times? What's the Creighton Nebraska rivalry? They won last year. Is that something you're looking for? Is it a healthy rivalry, or do you want to or is it a real rivalry at this point now?
No, I think it's always a rivalry. I don't care if one team dominates it or not. I just think anybody that's a basketball fan, and you have J-Skers, but basketball fans in the state of Nebraska are Nebraska fans or Creighton fans.
Sure.
Yeah.
Period. There's a line in the sand.
That's
and
facts.
You're,
That's
and you're
facts.
one on the other, and
That's facts.
that makes it really, really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think. This is my third coach I've coached against down there. Is that right? No,
Maybe
no. I'm just.
I think it's 4, right?
There you go.
Who was it? It was Doc, Tim, and
now
Fred.
Yeah, so just
is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's been. I think it's really good. I think it's fun. I think it's great for the state, and you'd love to win every one. They played great last year. We shot it terrible. I would never have that game a week after Maui ever again.
I feel you, right?
But you just they beat us that day. And it's going to happen once in a while. But I'm sure the guys who are part of that game, they look forward to going back to Lincoln this year, and I'm sure it's always a hard place to play. Just like we have a great fan base that follows our team, they've done an unbelievable job following their group down there as well.
Does it feel like the Big East is wide open? I know last year they had Marquette
BPI
ninth or something
wise,
last year.
it looked like
you
it.
turn around and
Well,
they
at least
end up,
4 teams.
Yeah, 4, maybe even
and
deeper
what
than
you
that.
hear, this is what I think. I think Providence is a sleeper. I think Creighton is all. I'm not gonna say always. Don't matter about the past. Creighton is there. Marquette is holding it down, and then you got. I want to say Villanova.
How about the national championship from last year?
Oh, UConn. Sorry, yeah, I forgot.
So
They're not bad.
That's your
My
highest.
bad.
Yeah.
No disrespect.
Yeah, that's your
but
highest.
Yeah, but I think those 4 and Providence is a sleeper.
Yeah, Marquette ourselves, UConn return plenty.
Yes.
Villanova, you get Justin Moore, Eric Dixon back, and they've added some transfers that really fit.
Yeah.
You talked about how do we find these guys that fit us. They've went out. Kyle's found 4 guys that are perfect. Big guards, strong, downhill guys, defensive-minded guys. To your point, Providence, you got Bryce Hopkins back.
Mm-hmm. That's what I base
That's
it
a
off
good
of.
start.
Yeah.
St. John's has reloaded the roster. Cooley's going to do some tricks at Georgetown. So you start looking at it, there's not many teams that aren't very good.
Right. Is there a conference challenge this year?
We still have the Big 10 and the Big 12. So we have Iowa in the Gavitt games.
Yeah.
This will be the last year, unfortunately. They're not going to. The Big 10 decided not to renew that. And then we go to Oklahoma State in the Big 12 challenge. I think that has 1 more year left in the contract.
Man,
so
best conference in America is right here, man.
It's fun. It's fun.
You lucky.
I'm glad our
God is good, man.
I'm glad. I'm glad our fans get to experience it.
Amen. Yeah.
And your schedule sets up better for that this year with some of the home games you have, and it was a tough schedule last year that you guys got ready for.
And we just didn't have a lot of great ones at home, and with Iowa at home, and then Alabama home.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right before conference season starts.
Then Villanova.
That wasn't very smart.
I know. I'm about to say it can go really bad or really good.
Yeah. So it'll be. It'll be good for our team. So we'll look forward to it, and I think that one's sold out already. I've been told.
Yeah.
So that'll be pretty cool.
Coach, we appreciate that.
You always give great interviews, man.
Always great to join you guys.
Thanks a lot.
All right, welcome back to the Let It Fly show. We appreciate Greg McDermott
That
joining
was a
us.
cool interview, man.
That was.
Yeah, a lot of questions, a lot of anticipation. That Elite 8, we probably should have asked more about it, but we passed it because we right back at in the rankings.
There's no way it's ever going to leave him completely. My uncle coached at Georgetown.
Yeah.
And you go back to 1982.
Okay.
They're playing North Carolina. They're down 1. They're coming down. Eric Sleepy Floyd is coming down the court. Freddie Brown's coming down the court. Freddie looks at Eric Sleepy Floyd.
Is it downtown Freddie Brown?
Downtown Freddie Brown.
Yep.
Actually went to Southern High School outside of
Washington, D.C. Anyway, he looks over at him, sees Sleepy, and then turns and looks underneath. And then when he looks back, he thinks Sleepy's still there. He's not. You know who's there? James Worthy.
Turnover.
For the other team and goes down. You could ask my uncle right now. He's 81, 82. And he would start, he'd be like, I can't believe we threw the ball away. Still, that never leaves you.
You know who
it
like
never
that
leaves
is Coach Altman talking about 1994.
Isn't that, wow.
Yeah, I'm like, man,
Dude.
like,
okay.
Like, I'm just saying
you
that
moved on, though, huh?
I feel you. I did. You know,
You gotta move on sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Yeah, let's do the keys to the game. Of course, as always, these have a theme.
Yep.
Okay?
I'm trying to figure it out.
All right. This first theme, you may know it very well. Let it fly.
Okay.
Let it fly. Attack Michigan State through the sky.
Has it got
Let it
anything to
fly.
do with them being very bad? What's the better word? Sucky?
Sucky would be a good word.
Yeah, and,
that's a $4 word right there.
Yeah.
No doubt. No, exactly that. You're talking about a team that gives up as many passing yards as anybody in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
The most per passing attempt and the highest completion rate. Nebraska, even if you don't throw it well, just try to throw it.
Yeah, you got to
They're
take a
young.
shot.
They're in
You
the
gotta take a
secondary.
shot.
They have injuries. They got true freshmen back there. Throw it up. Give you guys a chance. Give Malachi Coleman a chance. Give Jalen Lloyd a chance.
That's facts.
You know?
Yeah, that's
Give him a
facts.
chance. You never know what could happen.
Jalen Lloyd.
Not great with throwing the ball, but they're really bad at stopping people from throwing the ball.
Exactly, so throw it.
Let it fly is the first key.
Respect.
Second key. You ever heard of the movie Get Carter? Any of y'all Get Carter?
No. Me
Nice,
too.
close.
Me too.
Not even close.
I'm gonna go home and watch that.
So that's a really good movie. two movies been made.
Yeah.
They made a remake of it with Sylvester Stallone in 2000. And then the original was back in 1971 with a guy named Michael Caine. You guys know Michael Caine? Right? Michael Caine? He was the butler for Batman in the first in the Batman
I
movies.
didn't know that was his name.
That's Michael Caine. Okay.
Respect.
Yeah, Michael Caine.
Okay.
So do this.
Yeah.
Get Carter.
All right.
Their running back, Nate Carter, is the fifth or the fourth best running back in the Big Ten in terms of yards.
Yeah, he's gonna
He's
run
the
all over
third leading
Nebraska.
rusher overall in all
Yeah.
of the stats put together. So Nate Carter, you got to slow him down. Get Carter. You slow him down. You know what that forces them to do?
What's that?
Throw the ball. They've thrown more interceptions than any team in the Big Ten. Get Carter, slow them down, make them throw the ball against your secondary that has been hot with interceptions recently.
Word.
Get Carter. That's the second one.
Okay.
And then the last one. So, again, I know you guys don't know this, right? But you know what Culture Club is? The band Culture Club?
No, I
By
don't.
any chance?
I'm not even gonna lie. I'm on camera. I don't.
Okay, so Culture Club was a band.
Scooby. Okay.
They had a song called Come a Chameleon. Remember that song?
See, I know
Remember
that song,
Remember that song?
but I didn't know that they
Have you
sang
heard the
it.
song? Have you ever heard the song that I rumble for you? Ever heard that before? No? Well, I'll fumble for you is this key.
Okay.
So you got to stop the fumbling, Nebraska. Look at me. Stop fumbling the football.
Man.
You are on pace to have
Wait, is Grant a part of that? Or no, he out, right?
36 fumbles. He got fumbles. He got 3.
Yeah. Okay.
He got 3.
Yeah.
Harburg's got 10.
Damn.
Yeah. They're averaging.
That's a lot of fumbles.
They're
bro.
averaging 3. I'm gonna do some math.
I ain't
Man,
trying to be
they're
funny.
averaging
That's a
3
lot.
a game. They played 12 in the season. They're on pace for what? Don't you go to that calculator. No, you didn't go to the calculator.
No,
you didn't do
hold
that.
on. Let me
All
tell
right.
him about that. Like, it's cool, man. Like,
Go
we
to that
knew
calculator.
school. Like, you know.
Anyway, they're on pace for that.
Yeah.
They're on a pace to
always
lose
use my fingers in calculator.
17 fumbles this year. On pace for that,
Man.
okay? It won't be a record, but it would suck. Stop fumbling the football.
10?
Don't be like Culture Club. I'll fumble for you. Don't fumble. Stop fumbling. Squeeze the rock, baby. John Heisman. You've heard of the Heisman Trophy.
Of course.
You've heard of the Heisman Trophy. He's not paying attention to me. He's doing stuff on a calculator. So listen. You've heard of it, right? John Heisman famously said, it's better to die as a young boy than to fumble the football.
I do know that.
That's serious.
Yeah, that's
That's what it is. It should be serious for you. Don't fumble the football anymore.
Right.
That's the third key. Squeeze the rock, baby.
For sure.
What's your score prediction?
Ooh, kill him.
Last week you had 21-7.
I did.
Yeah, a little low for the score.
I know.
31-14 last year. Last week.
Well, everything that you said, man.
Yeah.
I really think that it's gonna be closer than what we think.
Oh no! It's only a 3-point or 2.5 point line right now. It is a close, tight line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna be like I think this one gonna be 14-7.
Damn, low scoring.
I think so.
You also have something against field goals. I notice
Yeah,
you always
I do.
pick on the touch. You don't like field goal kickers? What about Tristan Ovano? Give him a shot, man.
No, that's my dog.
Okay, yeah, I got 24-10. I got field goals on either side.
No, that's my guy.
Okay.
I just feel
You don't
like
like field goals?
I I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I think my thing is I just throw out a score just off the
14-7.
basis of touchdowns.
Okay.
But if you want me to include the
you're fine.
If you want me to include the field goals,
14-7.
man, I think it'd be 27-14.
You're 27-14 now.
There you go.
It's a lot of field goals. Okay, so you're higher than me in terms of the total.
Yeah.
I don't know if it goes over the total,
I
but
don't even be thinking about field
I got
goals.
24-10 as well.
Yeah.
Do we know what's coming up next week? Do we know? Anybody know? Anybody know?
I don't.
Meg, are you the guest next week?
I'm here though.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
here,
both
though.
be here.
It'd be cool to interview.
Of course, we'll be looking ahead to a huge matchup against Maryland, right? And I'm sure we'll be talking about the first week of Creighton basketball and Nebraska basketball and all that as well.
Yep.
So all that'll come up next week. Special thanks to the head coach at Creighton University, Greg McDermott.
That was nice.
We appreciate him for coming on and sitting in with us.
Appreciate
A good 25, 30 minutes. It was a long time he was here. Our technical executive director,
That will be
Val Elvis. Val Elvis. Executive producer, Phil McLean.
For sure.
Production coordinator, Mac Pittman.
Mm-hmm.
And also local gambling advice guy. And
I like social media extraordinaire.
social media maven, Meg.
Which you like better?
The Maven.
okay.
Yeah, she's social
You
media
fake. Don't
maven,
talk to me,
Meg.
dog. Don't play.
hey, remember this. It's never a bad time.
For Omaha State.
For Omaha
I'm
Steaks.
thinking about what she said.
It's never a bad time for it to be a Maven either.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, for sure.
So nobody wants to cook Thanksgiving dinner. I know this because I do it every single year. Nobody wants to do it.
So
Nobody wants to do it.
So I just overheard a conversation of people putting certain Thanksgiving dishes on other people, and they just kept passing them around to other people. So you're right.
So like a potluck.
No, just kind of like you gonna cook the ham or you gonna cook the turkey.
Okay.
And it's like, actually, would you do that this year? And it's just passing it around. So,
Well, here's the thing. Omaha Steaks. Build your own Thanksgiving meal.
All right.
You can order your Thanksgiving meal from Omaha Steaks. Save all the work. I love this one right here. Build your own Thanksgiving for 6 people. Okay. You can get a turkey if you want. Hold on. To turkey. You know what else you can get?
He tweaking.
Prime
you want to be a social
rib.
media maven.
You can get
Listen to this
prime
guy.
rib instead
Hopefully
of turkey.
You said that.
Who the hell wants turkey when you could have prime rib? It's a beef steak, baby.
No argument there.
Easy side, desserts
I can't
more,
argue with that.
free shipping.
Yeah.
They have it for $179. You don't have to clean up, none of that. No cooking. Build your Thanksgiving meal for either 4, 6, or 8 people. You can do that. That's at omahasteaks.com. Never a bad time. And never a bad time on a holiday to have somebody else make the food for you.
Hey, man. I can't wait for Thanksgiving, man.
Really?
You know why? Just
Tell me why.
I'm rooted in North Omaha. That's where I'm from.
Okay, yeah.
I got some things going where Creighton Athletics, where we're going to give out turkeys to.
Awesome. Nice.
Yeah, man. So I can't wait for
I remember
that.
Nino Brown did that in a movie, New Jack City.
I am Nino Brown,
You
bro.
Nino Brown. Can I be G Money?
No, you can't.
Because I get killed there.
Yeah,
This kind of sucks.
CMB.
I always get CMB.
There
We
you
all
go.
we got.
He know the movie.
Oh, dude, I lived that life. My buddy Matt, my buddy was actually G Money, and I was Nino Brown.
That's what's up. I feel it.
It was big.
Hey, you got to get it.
Neither one of us was tweaking though.
No, I bet.
Like Chris Rock was.
Yeah. No, like Pookie.
Like Pookie. Pookie was bad off, man. I feel so bad for Pookie today. He was like shaking.
Right.
Don't do crack, people. Crack is
whack. Hey, I heard an interview with Chris Rock. He said, Marlon Wayans was telling it.
Yeah.
He was like, I was supposed to be Pookie.
No way.
Yeah, but his brother felt like he wasn't ready or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is, Chris Rock was telling.
He was good.
His side of the story was, man, no matter where I went for a couple years.
He was Pookie.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It was like, you know.
We were at the Superdome for Grambling Southern. It's the Bayou Classic every year. And I'm walking through and I hear people yelling, Debo! Debo! Tiny Tim Lister is walking, from Friday. Is walking. And everybody's yelling, Debo! Leave my stuff alone.
I got a story about him.
Yeah.
My cousin loves
Debo.
celebrities.
Oh,
no.
okay.
We in Phoenix.
Yeah.
We hanging out in Phoenix in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
We go back to the hotel. This is about like 2014, 2015. We all partying, kicking it, hanging out.
Yeah.
Right. We go back to the hotel. Everybody tired. And we walk past Double Take. My cousin said, there go Debo.
They go Debo.
And I look, and it's Tiny Lister.
Yeah.
And so my cousin like, can I please get a picture, man?
Yeah.
And he was like, no, not right now, man.
Really?
I'm
Okay.
chilling. I'm with my girl.
Okay, yeah.
And he's like, come on, man. Dang, I'm a fan, man. Friday.
Yeah.
And so he walked off. And then my cousin came back and was like, man, he a hater, man. And then he scared my cousin, and he got into the Debo character and was like, "Get your ass over here!" and take a picture. My cousin got scared.
He got scared.
You know, but it was a cool moment to actually see that in person.
He took so many pictures
to Debo.
Yeah, exactly. He took so many pictures of Bobby Class. He was amazing, dude. He was a big giant teddy bear. Is what he was.
Yeah,
like he was in the movie.
He went in the character, scared my cousin, and took a picture.
Yeah,
it was cool.
He had that eye, dude. That thing with his eye was like really weird. Yeah. Thanks for joining us on the show. We're gonna allow Josh to take us away.
Hey, it's your boy Josh Jones with Michael Severe. You know how we do it. It's a Let It Fly show.